How's it going, guys? Mr. Ristau here. Hopefully you were able to get through the last few days of solving for the expressions and evaluating expressions and all that good stuff. I usually have fun with that. I know you guys probably did too because we all love math, right? Well, as we move forward, we're going to get into solving two-step equations for the next 5 lessons, actually. As you see, May 7th, May 8th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th, those dates are all solving are all solving two-step equations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to solve two-step equations with progressively more difficult problems. And then I'm hoping that this video is enough for those next 5 assignments because they are very similar. If anyone does need any more help, let me know though. I'll help you out. Comment on the videos. You can comment on your Microsoft team page, whatever you wish to do. We'll give you guys extra help if you need it. But I am going to teach you how to solve two-step equations. And I'm going to do it with a little spin to where I'm going to do it in the ways that your 8th grade math teacher will want you to do it. So as we move from 7th grade to 8th grade, I'm going to try to tie in some of the 8th grade methods today. So if something looks new to you, that is completely okay. But I'm going to show you how the 8th grade teachers will want you to solve these. So for the first problem, I actually took this problem right from your packet. You can find it on the May 7th date. It's question number 4. Negative 9r plus 12 equals negative 24. And what we want to do is we want to solve for our variable. You want to solve for whatever letter we have. In this case, we have r. So the way that your 8th grade teachers will want you to solve these is they're going to want you to make a list. Now off to the side, I'm going to make a list. My list is just going to be what is happening to my r. We see the r right here. The closest thing to that r is the negative 9. So when I have the negative 9 right next to my r, we should know what operation is going on here. So this r, since it's right next to the negative 9, it's going to be multiplying. So our r is being multiplied by negative 9. That's the first thing happening to our r. What else is happening on the same side as our r? We're adding this 12. So first we're multiplying r by negative 9, then we're adding 12. Well, what we want to do to get r by itself is we're going to take these steps, and we're going to do the opposite of these steps, starting from the bottom to this top, doing the opposite. So if we're starting from the bottom, we have add 12. If we want to solve this for r, we want to do the opposite of adding 12. What's the opposite of adding 12? Subtracting 12. And because we're subtracting 12 on the left side of our equal sign, we have to subtract 12 from the right side of our equal sign. 12 minus 12 is just 0, so those can cancel out, leaving us with that negative 9r on this side, equals negative 24 minus 12. That's like having 24 negatives and then getting 12 more negatives, so we have a total of 36 negatives, right? And I can cross off add 12 because we did the opposite of adding 12 to both sides. We subtracted 12. Now let's take a look at our multiplying by negative 9. What's the opposite of multiplying? It's dividing. Good. So we are going to divide both sides by the negative 9 because it's the opposite. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 cancel each other out, leaving us with just our r. And then we have a negative 36 divided by a negative 9. We know that 36 divided by 9 is 4, and we know that a negative divided by a negative is just going to give us a positive, so we can just leave it as this. R equals 4. And we're done. That's your solution. Once you get the variable by itself, R equals whatever the number is, that's your answer. But to make sure we got the correct solution, I would like to go ahead and do our check. The check, in my opinion, is easy, and it's awesome because you know if you get the right answer. If your check works out, then you got the right answer. But if you have to try to force your check to work, or if the check doesn't work at all, then you know that maybe we should go back here and try to figure something out that does work because our answer is most likely not correct. Well, doing the check, what we do is we take the negative 9r plus 12 equals negative 24, and we're just going to start by rewriting that. Negative 9r plus 12 equals negative 24. what we're going to do is we're going to take the r, just like what we did for the last couple when we were doing those expressions, evaluating the expressions. We're going to substitute in our value for r. If we found that r equals 4, I'm not going to write negative 9 times r. I'm going to write negative 9 times 4 because that's what I think the value is. Plus 12 stays the same, equals negative 24 stays the same. And we just go through solving this. What's negative 9 times 4? Negative 36. The plus 12 stays the same. The negative 24 stays the same. Equal sign gets brought down. What is negative 36 plus 12? Negative 24. Equal sign comes down. Negative 24 comes down. Is negative 24 equal to negative 24? Yes, it is. And because it is, we know that our check works, which means our answer of r equals 4 must be correct. Pretty cool, huh? So this list that we made up here always works. So let's try to use this list again in solving our problem that could be found packet page May 8th, question number 3. That would say negative 5t plus 5 equals negative 5. I'm going to make my list. What's the first thing happening to my t? It's being multiplied by a negative 5. So I'm going to write multiply negative 5. Then we're adding 5. So I want to do the opposites, starting from the bottom and working my way up. So what's the opposite of adding 5? Subtracting 5. So let's subtract 5 from both sides. 5 minus 5 cancels each other out. You're left with nothing. The negative 5t comes straight down into your answer. The equal sign comes straight down. And negative 5 minus negative 5 is negative 10. Go back to your list. We're multiplying by a negative 5. What's the opposite of multiplying by a negative 5? Let's go ahead and divide both sides by negative 5. And your negative 5s cancel out. We're left with just t equals negative 10 divided by negative 5. Negative divided by a negative is going to give us a positive answer. 10 divided by 5 is just 2. So your answer is t equals 2. Does that work? I don't know. Let's check it. Always check. You always start the check by writing down the equation that we started with. So since we started with this negative 5t plus 5 equals negative 5, I'm going to write negative 5t plus 5 equals negative 5 down here as the first line of my check. And then I'm going to do the substitution. Since I thought that t equaled 2, I'm going to write negative 5, not t. I'm going to write the 2 equals negative 5. What's negative 5 times 2? Negative 10 plus 5 equals negative 5. Negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. Equals comes down. The negative 5 comes down. Since negative 5 equals negative 5, we again know that our check works, meaning our answer of t equals 2 had to be correct. And now we got one more. Ooh, we have a fraction. So this could get a little tough. Now there are two ways to do this. I'm going to show you the one way and then I'll explain the second way. But I want to follow the method of using our list, okay? So the first thing we have going on to our n, once you find the variable, first thing going on is we're multiplying by a fraction here. We're multiplying by 2 over 3, and then we're adding 4. Does everyone understand that? When I say what's the first thing happening, what I mean is if you find your n, the closest thing to that is a 2/3. This means 2/3 n is 2/3 times n. So the first things we're doing is multiplying by 2/3. And then what else is going on this side? We're adding 4. So I have to write add 4 down. And now what we're going to do is in order to undo this, to solve this two-step equation, is starting from the bottom, working our way up, we're going to do the opposite operations, which means multiplying, we're going to divide. Dividing will be multiplication. Addition, you want to subtract, and for subtraction, you do addition. Those are the opposites, guys. These are the opposites. Multiplying and dividing are opposites, and adding and subtraction are opposites. Well, now we have our list. We're going to do them in the reverse order, meaning we're going to start with this adding 4, and we're going to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of adding 4? Subtracting 4. So you want to subtract 4 from the left and subtract 4 from the right side of your equal sign. So these cancel out. You're left with 2/3 n on the left side. And your right side, you have 26 negatives. Then you get 4 more negatives. So you have a total of 30 negatives. What's the opposite of multiplying by 2/3? It's dividing by 2/3. Which means these cancel out. Sorry for hitting the camera. And you get n equals, now we have negative 30 divided by 2/3. Now this one could be tricky. If you have a calculator, you can do it, or what you can do is a little keep change flip to get rid of that division. So negative 30 divided by 2/3 can also be written as negative 30. Keep, change the division to multiplication, flip your fraction, and you'd get negative 90 over 2. When you do the negative 30 times 3 is negative 90. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 90 divided by 2 is just negative 45. So our answer here is n equals negative 45. Are we done? Nope. Just got to do a check. And then we are done. When we run this check, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take the original equation. So that 2/3 n plus 4 equals negative 26. Write down the original equation, and then we're going to do our next line by substituting in the negative 45 for our n. And let's see if this works out. 2 over 3 times negative 45 is just negative 30. The plus 4, the equal sign, and the negative 26 all come straight down. What is negative 30 plus 4? It's negative 26. Does negative 26 equal negative 26? Yes, it does. So our answer of n equals 45 must be correct. I know that this may be new to some of us, this little list method, but I want us to try to follow it. If you have any questions, guys, just like I said earlier in this video, this is going to cover the next 5 days. The next 5 days. Sorry about that. This is going to cover the next 5 days, guys. So what we're going to do is solving two-step equations for these 5 days, and then I'm going to do another sheet that I am going to use to help you guys with word problems for solving two-step equations. Very similar, but word problems instead of just getting equations. That being said, this concludes this video, and I'll be back with more information next time, guys. I'll see you. Take care.